Hello, everyone. Welcome to It's Sybil. I am Sybil Wilkes, and the guys are here with me. Hey, guys.
Hey,
Hey,
Hey, the gang's all here from the beginning. Hello, Ahmed. How are you, big man?
I am doing excellent. It is a good Tuesday night. My son's soccer coach moved practice to Thursdays.
Oh, I was wondering how we lucked out on that.
Yeah, because I'd have been here at 7:20
Right.
yet, yet again. I'm saying, y'all, this,
He's coming.
yeah,
Right.
just tab me in for the second segment. This is not. I got soccer
Yeah.
practice. I'm sorry.
Oh well. And
don't
it's
be
Thursday.
sorry.
No, you're doing the darn thing with your kid. That's the most important thing, obviously. Is that going to be every Thursday now, or are we gonna?
That's what we hoping. That's what we
Okay,
hoping.
all right then. And soccer less dad. How are you, Damon Williams?
Yeah, certainly soccer list, but actually it was bowling yesterday evening, and my mother was with us, and she bowled three whole games, and
Wow, how'd she do?
she was not bad considering she was slinging it.
Your
And
mama was slinging it at the bowling
just
alley,
slinging it
was
with her
she?
fingers the best way she could, Then once this hand got tired, she tried it with the left. Then she did both. But she wanted to keep going, so it was awesome. The weekend was great. I want to thank my man Stan Scott and his family. It was his birthday, and he bought out Riddles Saturday at 8 p.m.
Oh,
because he
nice.
has 15 siblings. There's 16 of them, the Scotts I grew up with. And by the
Oh
time their
wow.
kids and families all showed up, it was 180 people.
Wow, that is the whole
So
club there.
happy
Yeah,
50th, bro. And this
that's
weekend,
nice.
Cleveland, I'm going to the Improv, and I need people to go ahead and get the tickets. Cleveland
Okay.
Improv. Yeah,
And give our best to Sam Silk too.
absolutely. And tomorrow at the Cleveland Improv, they're having a tribute to David Arnold.
Oh, right.
Oh,
Bringing
Yeah,
him,
his
yeah,
oh,
his
hometown. Yeah,
hometown. Yeah.
yep.
Yeah. Oh, nice. Well, I
But this
know
weekend, though, no.
it's all about the living and
I'm,
Damon Williams.
I'm gonna need that
Absolutely.
amen.
out, you people.
That's right. And they
Yeah,
will do that. They will show up and do the darn thing.
amen.
Med, have you recovered from your vacation? Are you fully back into the swing of things?
Yeah, but physically, I'm like
Oh, you still
peeling.
got a
I'm,
uh-huh.
I'm peeling. My head is finally normal again, but my arm, I'm peeling. I'm like, okay, let's get through this,
Wow.
plees.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
But
that is
outside of
the
that, I'm
only
excellent.
that's the only definition of black cracking
Yeah,
after a tan.
man, I'm just like, this is
Because black
wild.
sure don't crack a smile when they don't win the Oscar. That's for sure.
Woo!
Wow. I have a theory on that. I
Okay.
have a theory on that about the not winning of the best supporting actress category. I'm not mad at her, first of all, because I
Right.
don't think Jamie Lee Curtis deserved it for her little piece
Mhm.
of acting in
Right.
Everything Everywhere All at Once. But I do think that they knew in advance she was not going to win. And the only reason why I say that is because when they show the pictures of the nominees from the beginning, this
Hmm.
is this is for, and there was nothing on their faces. I mean, it was just totally deadpan for Courtney Vance and for Angela Bassett. And so I was like, oh, that doesn't look good. And then they came up with whoever it was that did it, uh gave, opened the envelope, and they said, and she just sat there, and it was like, I think she knew.
Or
I
she
know
was
they
sitting
say
there.
that's impossible, but
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
it's okay. Go ahead, Damon.
oh, she was sitting there like she was sitting next to Ike after an argument with her face. She was like,
and she appeared to really enjoy sitting next to Elvis more than she was to her husband. So I don't
Well,
know
that's her
man,
what was
boy
she
now.
was
I
going
didn't
in.
on
know that.
there.
That's her boy now. She's
Yeah,
had several
Austin
conversations
Butler.
with him, with Austin. But the setup, like completely the opposite of what you're saying, Sybil. The setup was because the girl that announced the winner was the girl who did Angela Bassett did the thing. The whole Angela Bassett did the thing. That's the girl that came up with that whole
Yes,
Angela Bassett
yes,
did the thing. Like
did the thing.
DeRosa, I believe
Yes,
her name is.
yeah.
So when you saw that, I'm like, oh, this is set up to have a moment. You know what I'm saying? with Angela Bassett won the
Bassett
Oscar.
on
You know what I'm
stage.
saying?
Right.
And to have Angela Bassett front row center, it's almost like they were setting her up to win, short move to the stage. Will Smith won and had a short runway to do whatever he wanted to do.
Right.
To the ring.
So this year, you had her, right in the front row center. So you were figuring that she would win. But when I heard that Jamie Lee Curtis has never been nominated for an Oscar.
Well, Halloween, what's she going to be nominated for?
But that's true. You're right. But when I heard Jimmy say that, I was like, oh, this is about to go the other way. Because like everyone's talking about snub. It wasn't a snub because Angela Bassett and Jamie Lee Curtis have been going back and forth during award season, winning that supporting actress award. So I think Angela won the SAG and Jamie Lee won something else.
It's
so
just
it was
the
never
opposite.
Yes.
It's just because Jamie Lee Curtis, she peaked at the right time because the SAG Awards came, she won that, and then it went to the Oscars. And I think that it was everything all at once and all of whatever. It was their time. And
it was.
Yeah.
And that movie is all over the place. I couldn't even get through it. Yeah.
It took me 3 times to finally
I'm not going to give it that type of effort. Nope. Only movies I watch 3 times.
When I go see a movie.
Right. Movies that I like Scarface and Coming to America and Great Places.
And there were some really good movies that did not get nominated, like The Woman King and Till and those actresses, Viola Davis and Danielle Deadwyler, did not get nominated. I can't talk about this enough, and I know Yolanda's like, who cares?
What are y'all doing? Yeah, well, that should be our eventual stance. Who cares? Because it's still, in my opinion, white validation to win those trophies. Once you get past the NAACP and the BETs, it's nothing. Everything else is gravy. If you play to a niche and play to your people, but still, I get it.
Yeah. I think it is a certain amount of validation, but damn it, you did wrong again, and for the second time. She, lost out on an award that she fully deserved, but. It's not called the Sybils, it's called the Oscars. So
well, you see, Denzel and Spike Lee were at the Lakers game during the Oscars. They had time
right
across the street.
But I'm really glad Michael B. Jordan represented and said, we love you, Auntie. And I thought that was a nice move on his part. And I hope that he's nominated for Creed because did a heck of a job with that movie. Have you all seen Creed 3?
Not yet. I'm still working out.
Let us move to the What You Need to Know newsletter. This is our Monday through Friday newsletter. We work diligently Sunday through Thursday to present this newsletter with news that affects and is of interest to the African American community. Sometimes you don't see the connection and, try not to, what does the banking, these banks going out of business, what does this have to do with me? And I promise you that we do try to make connections there so people can see that even though this is not the bank where you put your money, look ahead to the future and let's, show some concern for who we're doing our banking business with and what they're doing behind the scenes with our money. Because they're investing our money, and that's what happened with the Silicon Valley Bank. So that is our number one story. And if you'd like to subscribe to the What You Need to Know newsletter, please go to SybilWilkes.com. Give us your name and your email address, and we'll have it in your email box every Monday through Friday morning. So that is where we start. I did have the story about the headline is Follow the Money and the Regulations in the Bank Collapse. 2 banks for sure were closed over the weekend because they didn't have enough money for their depositors who wanted some of their money back. And so this is the Silicon Valley Bank, which does a lot of the tech startups, hence the name Silicon Valley. And they are headquartered in California. They have about 20 branches out there. And so when they have all these tech startups and I guess as an inducement, we're going to make your money work for you. And so they invested in a lot of government bonds. Well, as the government bonds and as the country knows, those that invest in government bonds, we had a crisis in terms of our money and the interest rates going up. And this is what happened with the government bonds, and they started losing money, not the money that they was originally given to them as investors. And the same thing happened for the people who have their accounts. Their interest rates were going up. They needed more money, and the money wasn't there.
Mm.
And so, and there's also some funny business, because they knew what was happening behind the scenes, because apparently earlier in the week they also gave out bonus checks to the executives of Silicon Valley Bank.
Oh,
wow,
not a good move.
Every time.
So the best description of this I have in this story is that it looked like a scene out of It's a Wonderful Life. And I don't know if you guys are familiar with this, but this is a scene where George Bailey, Jimmy Stewart's family business, everybody, see, they've seen the movie. Everybody needs their money, and so everybody's going to grab their money and get their money out, and it was kind of mayhem, and this is what started the problem and caused a run on the bank, if you will. And this is what caused them to have to shut down. And then the federal government got involved. Same thing happened on the East Coast, and this is called Signature Bank. Right. And this is really interesting because Signature Bank is known to do business with the Trump family. So, and they were allowed to do this because after the 2008 banking crisis, they were in the Obama administration. They had the Dodd-Frank rules, right, and how banks should be doing their businesses. And I'm sorry, Damon, am I keeping you up?
He's coughing. He's trying not to die right now. He's been holding it in.
Bless your heart. Bless your heart. So the Dodd-Frank rule had regulations for the banks and how they should be doing business. Well, Donald Trump rolled back a number of those regulations, which allowed banks to then do things not on the up and up.
Of course he did.
Yep. And that's where we are today. That's
why trains are derailing and banks are failing.
Yeah. Man.
I mean, the thing about the train derailment, and just attaching it this quick, because of the deregulations that Trump did while he was in office, Biden put those regulations back.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But I do not think Biden fixed the regulations with the banks.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, I know the Trump.
So that's where they're kind of scrambling.
Yeah, that's why because they, like I said, they probably didn't know or pay attention to what Trump did with the banks. They knew what happened with the trains and they fixed that. But it's again, it's DC messing with us. You know what I'm saying? And it's not just Signature and Silicon Valley. You have to think about the issues that we've seen with Wells Fargo, the issues we've seen with Bank of America. These are the stories that we've been seeing.
Buying banks.
Exactly. And it's been happening for the last 2 or 3 years. During the pandemic, you've been seeing all the slick stuff going on, you know what I'm saying, when it comes to, and it might be just you might just see a little headline here, just like, oh, what happened to my account? I can't access it today. Oh, we're fine. All of this stuff is happening behind the scenes while we're not paying, we're paying attention, but it's a blip. But these little blips keep on happening in the banking industry, and it eventually is going to end up being something much bigger in the end. They're trying to calm everybody down, but, we've seen just the cracks in the banking industry right now, and I don't know where that's going to lead. Luckily for me, I don't have any money in the banks because, right now they're all in the red. But so if they want to shut them all down, go right ahead. Go right ahead.
Yeah, I actually noticed the day when there was a substantial market drop that I have some small stock withdrawals on Cash App just because it's without thinking. It's like a weekly debit. And I couldn't see my balances all day. And they kept saying, just do what you always do. And it wasn't there. Then it came back once I inquired deeply. But we also need to check if any regulations have been eased on any type of hair dye or hair products if Trump was involved, because it might be some frivolous perms and y'all better check on Miss Clearwall, Just for Men, see if any of that chemicals that worked in that department has been deregulated before you have a massive spill of blonde across your community.
And not to mention, the coloring for his skin as well, because
Yeah.
you notice
Also,
he was
the
Peach and
Cheetos dust.
blonde,
Yes.
orange and blonde. You
right,
Check on
right.
Cheetos dust. And thank my wonderful wife who just brought me a bottle of water because she heard me choking from the other room.
Aw,
Yeah.
yeah,
aw,
no,
that is
yeah.
so
I told you
Hmm.
lovely.
he was struggling.
Yes, yes,
Yes.
and great to have a help partner there,
Yeah. Get you
just
one of
by
them.
your side.
What's
Yeah,
that? A chicken
right.
salad.
Another article that's in the newsletter, and I think you guys make good points, not only about banking, but some of these other things that have been rolled back in the previous administration and how they're going to affect us. Like you mentioned about the railroad and all of the things that have changed over the last couple of years, doing without the number of people on the train and how long they're supposed to be able to work, and
Right.
how to detect all of the problems that come along on the railroad, on the cars. So Tim Scott, black man, a Republican, is one of those who is said to be looking at running for the Republican nomination for president in 2024. I think he's going to get lost in all of this, simply because I don't think he has the charisma and
No,
the
he doesn't
personality
at
to
all.
deal with Donald Trump, DeSantis, even Nikki Haley, who is a fellow South Carolinian, and whoever else. Mike Pence, he might overshadow Mike Pence,
That's about it.
but that's about it, right? But he's in it. He's in the thinking stage. I guess he's got his people around him are encouraging
Yes.
or
The exploratory
discouraging.
phase.
Exactly,
That's what
exactly,
they call it.
And if
exactly right.
and that team's gonna find out, this is probably not a smart move for Tim to try to make hey man, just stay a senator, do what you do. You know, you're one of the few, was it two black? No, I'm sorry, you're the only black Republican senator.
Right.
And there's only 3 black senators total right now.
Well, there, yeah. Well, you got New Jersey, and you got South Carolina.
So it's just 2 total.
Yeah. Well, since the vice president, left
That's
the
right.
Senate. Yeah.
That's right.
It's just the 2 dudes.
Well,
so.
you got Georgia, right?
Yes.
I'm sorry.
So it's 3.
Raphael Warnock.
Yeah, Raphael Warnock.
Yeah.
So, with him being the only black Republican out there, and the thing is, he's not like middle of the. No, he is he is a Republican through and through. You've seen him kind of soften his stance on a few things recently, and I'm like, that's probably trying to lead up to what he's trying to do, trying to garner some, some partisanship from the other side, maybe. But Tim Scott need to stay where he at, because they're gonna run him out of the RNC completely if he tries to run right now.
For sure. And here's the other thing, man. They tried to use him during the exploration for the George Floyd policing bill. Remember that? And he was in negotiations, and that was an abysmal failure. So what does he have to point to? A big headline, and especially if he's going to try to attract any black voters.
Nothing.
I don't think so either.
Even though there is a large amount of black men moving over to the Republican side, like there's a large group of like one of the largest groups moving to Republicans is black men. You know what I'm saying? Even with that, Tim Scott has not done anything, even on the Republican side, to even make you think he's somebody that I would even be worth. He ain't no Colin Powell.
Yeah. Okay.
He ain't no Colin.
Okay. I mean, really, when you look at the other strong characters that are out there and representing black men, they think that Donald Trump is a better representation for them than a Tim Scott in most respects. And so that it is what it is. It is what it is. Also on Tuesdays in the What You Need to Know newsletter, we have a wonderful column written by the CPA extraordinaire Katrina Kraft, and she talks in this particular issue how to pay 0% capital gains taxes with 6-figure incomes in 2023. A 6-figure income. What is that, Katrina? Just curious. But definitely take a look. She's giving great advice as we are ramping up to tax paying season. So that is our What You Need to Know newsletter.
We add everything together.
And take your son's piggy bank and bring it all in.
Hey, but it's good to have a blueprint when you get there, brother.
Come on now, you're right.
Yeah.
Always
you
looking at the bright side.
You don't want to wait till you get there and not know what to do with it. See what I'm saying? You can practice now on your whatever figure income. Yeah.
A strong 5.
Okay, strong.
Solid.
Strong 5.
Solid 5. Yeah.
This is we recently, as we move into the question of the day, what's really going on, we recently had National Good Samaritan Day. So asking folks, and you guys look like the type that would do this. I'm not sure if it's at the bowling alley or in the airport or with your son's soccer team or whatever, but have you done a good deed lately, or has someone done a good deed for you? Not talking about the wives. I'm talking about perhaps a stranger or some place out, and about where a good deed has been performed.
Hey, I just got a bottle of water.
There you go.
That's what made me think of it. Yeah. Exactly. So the question for our listeners and our viewers today, have you performed a good deed, or has someone done a good deed for you? Now, this goes back to the Good Samaritan, of course, from the Bible, in the parable where a Samaritan helped a stranger who had been robbed and beaten and left to die by the side of the road. The Samaritan not only cleaned the man's wounds and clothed him, but took him to an inn where he paid for the man's care. Now, it's usually just to describe those who perform acts of kindness or those in need, especially people who are strangers. Do you guys have an example of performing a good deed, telling us? Because usually, you do it, you don't think about it, but you're like, hey, maybe that was, that was my Good Samaritan act.
Right. I can't like, I don't be around people like that.
Right.
To help them to do anything. That's what I was thinking of. I'm like, what if someone around somebody?
They're not interact.
with somebody. You know what? Today I was at the radio station today, and a young lady was trying to leave the station, and it's one of those you had to press the green button to open the door, and she walked into the door and like kind of hard, and then she pushed, and I just hollered, "Green button." She said, "Thank you."
Yeah, there you go.
That was my good deed today.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
I was on the Dan Ryan Expressway, and somebody put their signal on to cut in front of me. And I actually just let them get on in there.
Hold on. Did they put their hand up to thank you?
They acknowledge
the wave?
Did you get the wave?
Gave the wave. Yeah.
through the window? Did they go?
No, over the shoulder.
Over the shoulder?
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's Samaritanism in Chicago.
Yeah.
Because people look at your signal and say, "Oh, you want me to speed up?" So they make sure you don't get over here. So when I put my signal on, it's not a request. I'm coming over.
Suggestion.
Right.
No, this about to happen. Yeah. So you could be mad that I jetted in front of you, but I done told you. I'm not asking you to let me. I'm telling you right now, I'm coming to the left. Yeah. Yeah. It's not a request.
So drive accordingly, because I am swinging over.
Hey, work it out with your brakes, especially if I'm in a rental and I took the coverage. You don't want to test me on that one.
Okay.
Oh,
But I'm far from an aggressive driver these days, though, because you just never know with crazy people out here. But but that signal does mean I'm about to do this.
Yeah.
and I am much less aggressive on the road these days with an open carry law in the state of Texas.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
And how people are. And quite honestly, road rage is real.
It's very real.
And seeing the shootings, the reports of shootings on the Dan Ryan Expressway in Chicago or 635 in Dallas, that's enough to make me just move off of the freeway altogether to let them go.
I'm going to be honest. The only time I've seen road rage towards me, it's always been a white guy, always been a white man. And I know it's not funny, but the faces and the color of their skin turning red, and
like your shirt.
Yes. And I don't even get mad. I'm just like, this is comical. And you are driving, and then they start driving crazy.
Mhm.
I don't know, to make a point. I don't know what
Right.
y'all doing, but you're like you're now driving
Yeah.
crazier than possibly I was. I'm like, it's amazing to see how crazy people will get when road rage hits.
Yeah, and I've seen it with young white girls too, and they like to, drive real fast and get alongside of you. And it
Oh
used to
God.
be they would just give you the middle finger salute, but now I don't know what their daddies have given them, what they are strapped with, and so, but I've seen, many a times like, and it's like, really, this is so for me, it's funny. It was funny then,
Funny.
but it's like,
Yeah,
they
I had
are pissed.
I had a situation with a younger white woman, girl. She probably was in her late teens, early
uh-huh.
if 20. And I'm late for a show, and I got to get there. I'm gonna miss my money if I miss my slot. So I'm going to Wisconsin, and I'm in the left lane. And I'm not the type that'll flash the lights behind you till you get over. But if you're in that left lane, you see somebody coming aggressively
Move.
trying to get, just let them pass. She wouldn't let me pass. I don't tailgate, so I decided to wait till I had opportunity to go around. Do you know she sped up to keep me from passing her and then gave me the finger? I'm like, she don't even know. I could have been riding with some people I know.
Right.
Right.
That could have been the end of her.
Right.
Just like
See Damon get mad.
Just the memory of it. Look at him.
Damon got hot.
It could have been over for you, lady. If it was Gucci and the crew, it would have been a different evening for you. You're lucky you had post-Subway comedian Damon.
Because Gucci D, forget about it.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh man.
So
I had a Jerome back in the day, like Morris Day. I'd be like, Jerome, and that would have been the end of her. Anyway.
We kind of got away from the question. Speaking of Good Samaritans, but I did have a situation in the grocery store like week before last, and I was at the end of my budget, and I was, I had to pick up some things, and there was a guy in front of me. He had like a United Nations a cart full of kids, different colors and ages and sizes and what have you. And he was buying all of these things. It was like a rack of meat and a lot of bottles of water and vegetables. And he was just, trying to cook for these kids, I assume. And he got to the cash register and I was trying to put my items on as he was finishing. And he kind of gave me the look like, what are you doing? I said, I'm not rushing you. I'm just putting my things up here. And he came up short. And so the kids were like, oh, he goes, well, you got to put some stuff back. And I just told the lady, I got it. And so, and then he was, I'm not sure if he was embarrassed because, the situation or whatever. I was like, just pass it along. And that's the only thing I ever ask people to do.
Pay it forward.
Is pay it forward. Yep.
Yeah, I had a guy come up to us in a Waffle House one time, and me and we were just sitting there eating, and he just paid our bill and was leaving. And I was like, whoa. They said, yeah, the guy got your bill. Like he said, pay it to the next person.
Yep.
But I was like, did you think we two hungry black people in this?
Well, the way y'all was eating.
Right. I mean,
there first.
It's like, hold on, man, I got breakfast, buddy. I'm good. But did he look at this and say, oh, for all the slavery and things y'all went through, let me help the black people? And I almost was insulted by it because I'm like, it's other people.
In a Waffle House and a white man paid for your meal. Yeah, that's
okay. What did you say?
And there was some whiter, needier people sitting around me. This is a world. You might want to pay for Jabba over here because I'm good. I'm between gigs from the highway. He is missing teeth.
I ain't missed no meals. I ain't missed no payments, so I'm good.
Man, but I took it, and I did do it for somebody going later.
The toothless
so
man?
it struck a chord.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And speaking of Subway, I've had someone do that for me as I was in the line behind them, and this lady paid for my salad. And so I was very, very grateful. But, it's interesting to see how people accept those things too.
Yeah.
Deborah Clark Fairfax on YouTube says, I'm collecting school supplies and gently used children's shoes for my trip to Nairobi. Let me know what we can do for you. I love that. We've done that before, and I would love to help you, Deborah. So please stay in touch and let us know how we can help you with that. I would love for people to be able to join you in that and help out. Yeah. We did that with Oprah's school. They told us they didn't need anything from us. So
oh, no. You mean the other children.
Right. Yeah. There's another school down the road.
Here at the Wakanda Academy. No.
Right. Exactly.
I started a Facebook page for something like that because teachers often come out of their pockets when they see kids in need and they have to do stuff, but it just didn't catch on. I didn't want it to facilitate. I wanted it to be a message board between two factions. If you weren't somebody that wanted to give, or if you were a teacher that needed help, and it's called Help Teachers, Help Kids. It's still up, and it worked for about a week or two. And people were meeting each other, but they just kind of fell off. So I want to try to get that back out there because lots of these teachers definitely come out of their own pockets, and they see firsthand without embarrassing the child, the teacher could indeed help a kid with some dirty shoes or that needs book supplies or things of that nature. So it's still up. Help Teachers, Help Kids, and you all can do it. Talk amongst yourselves.
But
Damon, I'm not a Facebook. I'm sorry. Go ahead, man.
I'm sorry. I'm just saying these teachers out here coming out of their pockets for darn near everything in that classroom. So that's why that inventory list that we get as parents, it's so long because they really, if you don't get it, I'm buying it. You know what I'm saying? So if you can help out, that would be great. So I completely understand, and it is very needed.
And as a Chicago public school teacher's kid, I've seen it, in action, and not only with clothing and school supplies and things like that, and also food items and helping families at the holidays and things like that. So absolutely. So Damon, I would love to help you with that. Aubrey Williams on YouTube says, my good deed this year so far is that I helped a woman fight off an attempted carjacker last month. Wow, Aubrey. I just wanted to help because that could have been my mother, sisters, or anyone I knew. God bless you.
Especially as an elderly person.
Right. And you just don't know with carjackings how that could end up. Right. Yeah. God bless you.
It's such cowardly criminals out here now too, attacking women like they do now. It used to be a time where there was a code in the community, but it's ridiculous that they will rob old ladies. They'll shoot at cars with kids inside. It's a tragic time we're living in.
It is. Tragedy is absolutely the word there.
So thank you, Miss Aubrey, who did that.
Rosalind Owens on Facebook says, you guys are great. I'm enjoying your conversation. I've had White do nice things for me, fix my flat on the highway, pay for my meal at a nice restaurant.
I've had a White come up to me and help me out.
Well, some people call that a date.
I had one of them.
I've had a White, and the White said, I fixed the flat for a black. So.
Yeah, some of those Whites are okay.
Y'all ain't bad for a White. Yeah.
Right, for a White.
Absolutely.
That was mighty white of you.
Mighty. So we would love to hear more of your Good Samaritan stories. If you have some more, as we wrap this up, we're coming to the end of this segment, and the time police will be moving us along. But if you have a story about a Good Samaritan did something for you, or you did something for them, the act of Good Samaritan can be large or small. It doesn't involve, like Mr. Aubrey said, in terms of saving someone's life, perhaps in a carjacking, and coming to their aid in that way. Aaron Anderson on YouTube. So my good deed for the year, I paid a woman. I paid a woman for her grocery. I paid a woman's groceries.
I helped a woman pay her groceries.
Something
like that in that area.
That's awesome. Good for you.
Great.
Yeah. And if
no kindness is too small.
I just love them saying my good deed of the year, like it happened. I'm done.
Get that out the way.
We're in March.
It's over.
Okay.
I've done it.
Maybe it's a financial calendar. I'm not sure what it is. Done. Janet Ferguson on Facebook said, my good deed today was making a terminally ill woman laugh today. God bless you. Man. Oh, that is so awesome. that. And when you, and that is the beauty of working with entertainers and comedians, especially Damon. And having people come back to you and tell you that day you all talked about such and such, or that day that,
Yes.
Damon, start talking about the monkey, got that monkey.
Yes.
And that just, people are
Oh, monkey talk ain't been out there in a little while. Go ahead, Sybil. Bring back the monkey. Hey, where do you want me to put it? Monkey talk. Back on Sybil.
Monkey talk with Damon Williams. Yes, yes.
See, you said we had to exclude the wives, so I didn't bring up monkey talk for the good Samaritan that lives here.
Oh man.
Yep, time to clean these gutters around here. Mm-hmm.
and hedge trimming time, if I'm not mistaken.
It's always some handyman work.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. Thanks, you guys. I appreciate the conversation and the good words and conversation about the good deeds. Keep up the great work. And I'm very serious, Damon. I don't do Facebook, but I would love to help you in whatever way I can. So
yeah, we got to figure that out because it was working for a small time, and it's an easy thing to do. It's a message board between the parties.
Right. Let's move to trending news. And Damon, you mentioned you're going to Cleveland. Where are you going to be this weekend?
The Cleveland Improv, 2 nights, Friday and Saturday. Actually, Sunday should be up for sale too. So just trying to have some fun in Cleveland. Haven't been there in a while. Stayed out the market, so I can have a little anticipation build up. So I'm coming back. Got a bunch of jokes to talk about, a bunch of stories. And I'm on WZAK, Sam Silk Show, Tuesdays and Thursdays there. So it'd be nice to see some of the listeners.
Yeah. Tell Sam we said hey.
Will do.
And Riddles, is the buyout for the entire club, is that this weekend coming?
No, that was last weekend. So this weekend I have Bodacious, who is the headliner. He travels with DL Hughley. If you ever see DL around the country, he's been with DL a lot. Real sharp dressing dude. And Sean Morgan is from Chicago, but he lives in Houston. He's coming home to host because I'll be gone. So it'll be a cornucopia of comedy this weekend at Riddles. Same low price. Might even be a deal available. Hit me on DamonWilliamsComedy.com.
All right. You see the signage right there for you.
Yes.
All right, gentlemen, we are already in meteorological spring. That started on March 1st.
Hey.
Astronomical spring begins Monday, the 20th. And so somebody needs to tell the folks on the East Coast that we are in the midst of spring, because now they are in the midst of a nor'easter. This is usually a once a year kind of thing, but it doesn't usually come this late in the year. And the nor'easter is when it comes down the East Coast. It doesn't travel from west to east. It stays up north and comes down the East Coast. And so this is the first nor'easter of the season. Heavy snow, high winds, power outages, and travel woes of many. Astronomical spring less than a week away. More than 20 million people are under winter weather alerts Tuesday as a result of this nor'easter. And this is a storm that travels along the eastern seaboard, as I said, and brings winds from the northeast over the region. 2 feet of snow having fallen across western Massachusetts and southern Vermont. And in some areas, like in Massachusetts, I believe they say they were getting as much as 2 inches of snow an hour.
Wow.
That's serious. And 6 to 18 inches of snow likely from northeastern Pennsylvania into northwestern New Jersey, much of upstate New York and New England. According to the Weather Prediction Center, higher elevations such as the Catskills in New York and the Adirondack Mountains could see isolated amounts of more than 2 feet. So once it stops, it's going to be great for the skiers and that last for people not going to Mexico for spring break if they want to go skiing, but if they got to get out of their houses first. And
hopefully it'll replenish some springs and brooks and water around there, because at some point, some of this mountain water got to be coming from somewhere. Everything got a mountain on it. All the water comes from the mountain. And this is purified water. It's the mountain.
Ozark. Yes.
Right.
Absolutely.
At some point, we got to restock the mountain water.
Exactly. I'm with you. Check out the situation with Michael Irvin. He is fighting back.
Let's talk.
The video and his sexual misconduct accuser finally released And the footage shows the ex-NFL star had a fairly lengthy conversation with the woman, touching her twice on the elbow, according to reports, before leaving her side. Irvin's attorney, a man by the name of Levi McCathern, shared a copy of the Marriott video at a news conference today with reporters after obtaining the clip following a weeks-long legal battle with the hotel chain over it. They would not release the video. The lawyer got it. It was captured at the Phoenix, Arizona Marriott, February 5th. You can see Michael Irvin and the hotel employee initially talking right at the entrance of the bar area, shaking hands before moving a few feet away into the lobby. They can be seen in the footage chatting for over a minute, and twice during their interaction, he touches her elbow. And apparently she says this is triggering for her, or something was triggering. A short time later, they shook hands, and then the woman walked away. The entire interaction seemed rather unremarkable, according to the attorney. He can be seen in the video, Michael Irvin seen in the video, appearing to slap himself on the cheek 3 times. I don't know if that's a good luck thing or what, but then he walks over to take a selfie with a man that the lawyer believes is an employee also of the hotel. And following that, he walks out of the camera's view and apparently up to his room. The court documents filed last week, Marriott claims the woman said that during the conversation with Michael Irvin,
Go ahead, say it, Sybil.
he asked whether she knew anything about having a big black man inside of her.
That's what she said. That's what she said.
So, did he say something like, "Do you have any black in you?" And
Something
she's
like
like, "No, I'm white." Then he was like, "You want some?"
He said, "Hell no, I don't speak like that. I've never spoken like that. I totally deny saying that."
So this is where Michael has an issue, because when Michael first talked about this, he said he was drunk and doesn't remember the conversation.
Remember anything, right?
He didn't remember nothing.
Right.
So I finally, my boy just hit me up and asked me about this, and I'm like, I didn't even know the video was released. I watched the video right before I came on here with you guys, and watching it, I was like, well, they're talking a lot longer than I thought they would.
Right. Then he indicated, yeah.
And so I'm like, I'm watching it. I'm like, they're talking for a full 3-4 minutes, and the thing is only 5 minutes long. And yeah, you see him try to touch her. You see her step back away from him. She put her hands behind her back, but she continued the conversation. It doesn't look like, again, you can't hear anything. It doesn't look like Michael was really doing anything crazy, because he started laughing and joking. And when she walked away, he was like kind of pointing at her, like to some other guys, like, you see her, you know, the woo woo woo. So could he have had said that in that conversation? Maybe, but I still do not believe that the NFL Network or ESPN should have pulled him off of off their broadcast based off of just one thing that somebody said. You know what I'm saying? This was not,
or that they said
exactly,
because
this video just came out, and I'm looking at it like, you really pull this man off TV, you know, took money out of his pockets,
right,
for this.
And
well, like, it's Michael Irvin though, so you know, he has some bit of a baggage in history with some of his inappropriateness, or just his wild way with drugs and women. You know, so he's probably said some things before. They like, here go Michael being Michael, just to be safe, go home. And who knows what he said? Because you know, you could say something really nice while you touching the elbow, or you could really say some bull while you touching the elbow. You know, especially twice. So you got to give the benefit of the doubt. But people are triggered differently now. You know, there was no triggering, and he's from a generation where men talk like men talk, locker room talk, and Trump got away with it. At least he ain't try to grab her body part.
Except for her elbow, apparently.
Yeah, well, that body part was not what I was referring to. I'm back to monkey talk, Sybil. It ain't like he tried to grab the monkey, you know. I haven't seen the video, so let me take a look.
You know, see if there was a video. I mean, the thing is, the way that the Marriott described it actually is how it looks on the video. You just can't hear anything. But
it just popped up on my phone. I'm so sick of y'all out here. It literally says Michael Irvin, NFL. Look at that.
See?
Wow,
boom.
That's it. Yeah.
Boom.
Scared. I didn't even touch it. I just opened my phone.
And it was right there. But yeah, if you go and watch the video, the way the
I ain't going nowhere. I'm finna watch it now.
It's literally how it's described. Touch, she moves back, all that. But again, you can't hear anything. You can't read the lips. I saw somebody say read the lips. It's too far away.
But
And
if he slapped himself afterwards, then that might be a
Right.
good. Mike, you got to stop doing that. That. What do we talk about?
yeah.
Right.
You just
Right.
can't talk.
Right.
Just
Just
like the
Lord knows my
therapist that
heart.
gives you the rubber band on your
hold
wrist.
and Michael Irvin initiated the conversation too.
Well, I guess the bottom line will finally come to an answer, or we may not. I don't know. I'd like to give him the benefit of the doubt.
I am.
But like you say, he has a history, and I think people are counting on that. And like you said, the NFL definitely knows Michael Irvin's history, so we shall see. Let's talk about, while you're watching this, Damon, let's talk about a really nuisance lawsuit where a man in Illinois has a bone to pick with Buffalo Wild Wings. A man by the name of Ahmed Halim recently filed a class action lawsuit accusing the company of false advertising over its boneless wings. He claims the boneless wings are actually pieces of chicken breast meat, deep fried like wings. He says the chicken wings are more of a premium and desirable product, and consumers would pay less if they knew they were just eating chicken breast meat. Right. That's what Buffalo Wild Wings is saying. It's like, yeah. And they tweeted out, it's true, our boneless wings are all white meat chicken. Our hamburgers contain no ham, and our buffalo wings are 0% buffalo.
You
hamburgers don't have any ham. That's a first for me.
I love it.
It's always been the debate: is a boneless wing a true wing?
There's no
answer
such
is
thing.
It's a chicken nugget. Okay, we know what it is, but what are we doing suing the company? It's like false. No,
there's no such thing as a chicken finger either.
This is true. True.
That would be absolutely true.
So if he wins, guess what I'm about to do? I'm looking for precedent right now. If he wins, no bones in the boneless wing, ain't no fingers on the chicken, and a chicken finger.
Man,
I'm going for it.
How crazy is this?
How crazy is that?
Yeah,
we shall see. We shall see.
Yeah. And according to Cat Williams, there are no more ox, so we're not eating real oxtails either.
Oh,
he said, when is the last time you've seen an ox?
Other than in a foreign country. You're right.
That's true. And whenever I'm in Jamaica, it's usually just cows. So it's cow.
Yeah.
It's cowtail.
Right. Okay.
100%.
And who hasn't paid a lot for that?
So
Oprah Winfrey is responding to a book that Donald Trump is putting out in which he includes letters from famous people written to Donald Trump. And she says, okay, all right. So this new book features private letters from politicians and celebrities, including the one and only Oprah, who wrote him in the year 2000. She wrote at the time, "Too bad we're not running for office. What a team." She said, "I think he'd written a book and said that he wanted me to be his running mate if he decided to run." She said this in an interview with her bestie on CBS Mornings. "Then when I heard this letter is now going to be a part of a book, I thought, oh, wasn't that nice of me to write a note? That's what I thought, because I'm always like, oh, I should write a note. The person did this, or I should write a note about that." And she says she's not thinking that she and Trump, she just writing some stuff. She said, never thought of them as a team. But here's the thing. Now, Jay Leno has categorically stated that he has not given Donald Trump permission to use any correspondence between them in this Letters to Trump book. Newsweek reached out to a lot of the people listed who are included in the book. A lot of them are dead, by the way. But there are a number of people, the living, including Oprah and Jay Leno. And Leno's representatives were quick to confirm they did not grant permission to Donald Trump in this letters to Mr. Trump. And this is apparently his own publishing company, so they didn't do the due diligence that a lot of people would have. And they said the publishing company behind the book said there had been actual or implied permission from the letter senders, who are private individuals.
What is implied permission?
Right.
There's no such thing as implied permission. Did you ask for permission? There's nothing in the letter that you sent saying, "Oh, by the way, if you decide to write a book 20 years from now, please include this letter, as part of it."
Yeah,
No, there's
yeah.
nothing
Writing
like
a little
that.
note. Check yes, check no. You give us permission.
I just don't know. Here's my question, though. I don't have the answer to. Is that protected? If you write somebody a note, is that protected? Like, even in email, if you send somebody an email, unless it's written, below that you can't use this as confidential, blah, 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 that's your property at that point, isn't it? So
I think so. And I think that, somebody who really wants to make a big deal out of this and I'm thinking that Donald Trump, thinks he's above the law, above everything we've seen.
I mean, he's still not in jail, is he?
Right. All these different circumstances, this is just a way for him to, first of all, have a book, non-controversial, and he can make money off of it because he's sorely in need of some funds. And he can do what DeSantis is out there on a book tour.
Yeah. And he definitely needed some type of book to be put out, because that's what you said. Donald Trump is putting out a book. Because I fell out of my seat if you said he wrote it. Donald Trump is putting out a book. Other people wrote.
That's right.
If you just said Donald Trump just wrote a book, like, no, he didn't.
No.
But my thing is, if I'm not trying to stop the book or stop them from using my note. You got to pay me.
Right.
That's how I look at it. You got to pay me for my contribution to your book.
Yeah.
And how much?
Yeah.
How much is an Oprah note worth to you, Donald?
Yeah.
I can that note costs a lot of money.
And especially with the note and said we make a great team. That's a great, a great thing to use with the blacks at some point.
When people of all races love Donald Trump, before he ran, basically.
Right. Yeah, and like we were saying about black men, they did like Donald Trump. I'm not sure where they stand now, but certainly
not so much.
It's not so much. Okay. Let's move to entertainment, and this is about the Oscars. Returning to Oscar talk, Chadwick Boseman's family said that they were grateful for recognition about their loved one at the Oscars. He got a lot of love. Excuse me, something his family was aware of and super appreciative to hear during the big night. Alan Boseman, his cousin and attorney for the family, said it's been incredible how Chadwick has been received by the entire Hollywood family, how his legacy continues to live on. Even though he's physically gone, his spirit remains in the hearts and minds of his peers and fellow actors and actresses on Hollywood's biggest stage. While he was a figurative king in the movie, he appears to be a real king to many others, including those in our family. And if you missed it, Denai Guerrera, who starred along Boseman in Black Panther, paid homage to him before Rihanna performed Lift Me Up. And Ruth E. Carter, who won, congratulations to her for Best Costume Design for the second time for Black Panther, made a moving tribute to him and her late mother during her acceptance speech, saying, "Chadwick, please take care of Mom." And of course, we know that his final performance on the big screen for most of us was to see him as King T'Challa in Black Panther. He died in 2020. So it's good to, that they recognize him. They should have recognized his mother in the movie, but that's neither here nor there.
I stopped watching after after Michael B. Jordan left. I was done after that. So I missed all.
I didn't even get that far. I didn't even make it that far.
I'm like, they did a tribute for. I missed all of that.
Yeah. I'll tell you
I missed all of that. I'm sorry.
One of Jimmy Kimmel's funny moments was when he asked, do you think we should include Robert Blake in the memorial?
And they did not. And his son is all ticked off about this. It's like, dude, there's some people you just don't mention.
He just didn't make it.
Yeah. and one of those people is like, I thought he was already dead.
Right. Like, he died again.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah, Jimmy Kimmel, he did a really good job, by the way. I thought he did a really good job in hosting that. All right, let us now close out with Yogi's Jewel, our daily inspiration, and sort of like what we referenced earlier with the question of the day. The jewel is doing the right thing comes easily with practice. Doing the right thing, Yeah, that's true. Doing the right thing comes easy with practice. So thank you for that, Yolanda. And guys, as always, it's been a great time with you. I appreciate your time, your wealth of information and humor. It's always a great weekly event to spend time with you all. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ha.
Now,